This right here is my dividend growth portfolio, made up of over 50 stocks and ETFs that is currently valued at around $507,000. Now this portfolio generates me around $2,100 per month on average in dividend income, and I have been consistently building this portfolio for the last 7 years or so. Now in this video I want to do a deep dive into all of my current positions I have in this portfolio, because I've recently been adding a lot of new positions and also dig into some of my favorite and least favorite stocks and ETFs that I own. Now make sure to stick around until the end of the video because I have a secret new holding that I'm super excited to share with all of you. So jumping right into it, this is my portfolio sorted by the biggest market value to the least market value. And as of right now, my absolute biggest holding, most market value, is currently my 1,000 shares of Apple stock, which I bought years ago at around $118 per share, and currently I'm up around $63,000 plus as far as just price return alone. Now I bought these 1,000 shares of Apple over a long time frame. I bought maybe 50 shares here, 20 shares there, and over time I built up a position to now where I currently have 1,000 shares. Now, even though these 1,000 shares of Apple is a great staple to have in my portfolio and sort of a good pillar of stability, because let's be real here, Apple as a company is not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm actually thinking about selling off my Apple shares coming soon here and being a little bit more diversified, maybe buying some ETFs like SCHD or maybe some other higher yielding stocks in order to juice up my dividend income on a monthly basis. Now, my next biggest holding as far as market value is currently my 883 shares of Realty Income, ticker symbol O. Now, I'm actually currently down in the position because Realty Income has been beat up so much over the last few months, but across all my portfolios, I currently do own over 2,000 shares of Realty Income as of this moment. Now, Realty Income might be my favorite dividend-paying stock of all time because I do have a big interest in real estate, but with owning Realty Income, you get pretty much all the good parts about owning real estate without having to deal with any of the headaches. And take it from me, I also own physical real estate, and owning Realty Income is much less stressful. Realty Income is one of my favorite holdings, and I constantly add more shares here and there, maybe 2 shares a day most times. And my goal is by 2025 to get to 5,000 shares of ticker symbol O. My next biggest position is my 1,114 shares of Devo, currently valued at just around $40,000. Now, if you haven't looked into Devo, definitely look into it. It's the Amplified Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. It's a well-diversified ETF that does use options to generate a little bit more income. They have a consistent monthly dividend, and definitely check it out. Next, I have 671 shares of JETB in this portfolio. Across all my portfolios, I think I might have well over 1,000 shares of JETB. I always forget. But JETB is currently valued at around $36K, and I definitely have a love-hate relationship with JETB. At times, I wish I would have bought more. At times, I wish I would have bought more JETQ or other things. But right now, it's still one of my biggest positions in this portfolio as far as market value. Next, speaking of love-hate relationships, I have 1,000 shares of Verizon, which is currently down $20,000 plus because I bought Verizon at $55 per share more or less in this portfolio years ago. Now, although I've made up from some of the losses with Verizon from selling covered calls here and there, and of course from the massive dividend payout that I do get every quarter, it still is my biggest loser in this portfolio, and I'll probably be holding it from here, whether it gets worse or whether it gets better. Next, I have BST, the BlackRock Science Technology ETF. I have around 500 shares in this portfolio. I do have some shares in other portfolios as well. Around $16,000, $17,000 worth of BST, a pretty well diversified BlackRock fund. Definitely check it out. Next, I have 555 shares of EPD in this portfolio, Enterprise Products Partners. EPD is a really high yielder. It definitely does not get enough love in the dividend growth community. It's been great for my portfolios. I've owned it, I've sold it for profit, I've bought it back again, and everything else in between. EPD is one of my favorite dividend stocks, and I've owned it for many years now. Next, I have 100 shares of JP Morgan common stock. These shares of JP Morgan I purchased years ago at around $94 per share, so I'm up pretty good on these. JP Morgan is probably the best bank in my opinion, and although I'm not super into investing into banks, these 100 shares of JP Morgan will probably stay in the portfolio for quite some time. Next, I have 300 shares of JETQ. Now, JETQ, unlike JETB, I definitely have more of a liking to because of the breakdown in holdings and because of the possibility of upside potential as far as the ETF price goes. Now, across all my portfolios, I probably have around 500 shares of JETQ, and I'll probably be adding more if the price does go down for whatever reason anytime soon here. Next, XYLD, I have 820 shares in this portfolio. I think throughout all my portfolios, I probably have over 2,000 shares. Another love-hate relationship. I love QYLD's monthly dividend, but at times I've been down like crazy on QYLD. On times I've been up like crazy. It's a covered call ETF that I'm holding as of now, but probably will not be buying any more anytime soon. Next, another BlackRock fund, the BlackRock Enhanced Equity Dividend Trust. This is another one that I've been accumulating shares of for years now. 1,661 shares in this portfolio alone, probably another 400 across my other portfolios. I'm down a bit on this one, but it does pay a nice monthly dividend, and it has been consistent for a while now. Next, 158 shares of the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, SCHD, one of my absolute favorite ETFs because of the dividend growth potential. I own 158 shares in this portfolio, but across my other portfolios, altogether, I probably own close to 600 shares, but we'll hopefully be getting that to 1,000 plus sometime soon here. Next, ticker symbol OHI, Omega Healthcare Investors Inc. I bought this REIT a while ago, and at one point I was down like crazy on it. I think at one point this might have been almost my biggest loss in this portfolio, but it's climbed back pretty good so far. Definitely one worth looking into. Next, XYLD, QYLD's brother or sister. This ETF, I own around 185 shares in this portfolio. I own a few more shares in other portfolios. Another one that I've held onto for years now and probably will not be buying anymore anytime soon. Another one of my recent favorite ads is Altria, ticker symbol MO. If you're a dividend investor, you know a lot about ticker symbol MO. I was kind of late to the party with this one. I bought it just as of recently, kind of. And across my portfolios, I might have maybe 200 or 300 shares, so not all that much compared to most long-term dividend growth investors out there. But ticker symbol MO is definitely another staple in the portfolio, and I'll consistently be adding a few more shares here and there. Next, ticker symbol NUSI, an old school covered call ETF with a collar. This is one I've held onto for years now. I have around 200 shares, I think, left in this portfolio at 215, and I probably would not add any more from here. Next, another one of my favorite REITs is ticker symbol NNN, or National Retail. National Retail, I only have 105 shares in this portfolio, but across all portfolios, around 500 shares, I want to say. National Retail is definitely a great REIT. Look into it if you haven't already. Next, I got 24 shares of United Parcel Service, UPS. This is one of my first stocks I ever bought, probably over 5 years ago. It's a relatively small position, but I'm up so much in it, I'll probably hold on to it forever. Next, 47 shares of Pinnacle West Capital. I then have 419 shares of Eaton Vance Risk Managed Diversification, Diversified Equity Income Fund. Then I have 442 shares of ticker symbol MPW, Medical Properties, which just recently, unfortunately, cut their dividend. This is a position I wish I would have never bought, but I'm holding on to it now. I'm down around $4,000 or $5,000 after dividends and after covered calls. I'm probably down more like $3,500, but still, it's an overall loser in this portfolio. It is what it is. Next, ticker symbol WPC, WP Carry. Only around 50 shares in this portfolio, but across my portfolios altogether, probably 300 or 400 shares of WPC, another one of my favorites when it comes to the real estate sector. Then I have ticker symbol VICI, Vici Properties. This is a fan favorite in the dividend community. 77 shares, and I do own more across other portfolios, altogether probably 200 or 300 shares. I really don't want to buy any more Vici as of right now, because honestly, I'd rather have more diversification by buying more realty income, but let me know what you think about that down below. Next, we got some Vanguard Real Estate ETF, 26 shares of that. We got 52 shares of Main Street Capital. We got EXR. This is Extra Space Storage. I'm down like crazy on this one. I thought this one was going to keep moving up, but just with 16 shares, I'm down $1,255. Next, a few shares of SPG. Everyone knows Simon Property Group. We got BUI, BlackRock Utility. I got a few shares of that, 78 shares. Then we have 54 shares of UTG. We got 50 shares of Walgreens, which has been absolutely getting crushed lately. We got 59 shares of KMI, Kinder Morgan. We got QQQX. We currently have 42 shares of that. We have T-Row, 6 shares. DLR, 4 shares. PBA, we got 17 shares. SPYI, one of my new favorite positions that I've been buying like crazy as of recently. SPYI, look into it if you haven't. We have a few shares left of Stake Industrial, which I'm not really that big of a fan of anymore. Then another new position that I've been buying a lot across my portfolios. Ticker symbol TSLY, the YieldMax ETF for Tesla. Definitely been fun to buy into and fun to watch. Then we have 7 shares of APLY. It's another YieldMax ETF, but this time for Apple. We have 1 share of Kimberly-Clark. We have 10 shares of HRZN, RQI 10 shares, CEFD 4 shares, ABR 4 shares, SPHD 1 share, AWP 10 shares, and then we have 1 share of TRP, 1 share of SVOL, 1 share of AMZY, and 1 share of ARCC. So there we have it. There is the absolute entire portfolio of over 50 holdings made up of different stocks and ETFs. Once again, my top holdings being things like Apple, Realty Income, Devo, JetB, Verizon. Some pretty high quality stuff throughout this portfolio with a little bit of risk sprinkled in there. But I want to hear from you guys down below when it comes to this portfolio. What is your number one favorite holding of all time in this portfolio? If you could only hold on to one stock or ETF for whatever reason. And which stock or ETF in this portfolio is a toxic part of it that you would get rid of if you were me in a second? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.